10 days from now, President Trump will meet face-to-face with North Korea's Kim Jong Un in Singapore. The president declared the June 12th summit officially back on after meeting with Kim Jong Un's top aide inside the Oval Office. The ultimate goal, getting the North to give up its nuclear weapons program. Well, for now, the U.S. is keeping its economic stronghold on the regime. But on Friday, the president seemed to soften his tone on the tough sanctions that he has enacted.
I don't even want to use the term maximum pressure anymore, because I don't want to use that term. Because we're getting along, you see the relationship, we're getting along. So it's not a question of maximum pressure. It's staying essentially the way it is. At some point, hopefully, a deal for the good of millions of people, a deal will be worked out.
Niall Stanage is a White House columnist for The Hill, and he joins me now from our Washington bureau. Okay, Niall, between the president's sort of softer tone on sanctions and his willingness to let the North, quote, take their time in this process, what do you think ultimately the White House wants to accomplish on June 12th?
Well, it's been quite a peculiar hokey-pokey diplomatic dance, this, hasn't it? We're in, we're out, we're in, we're out. And now it's back in and it's back on again. I think the White House wants this meeting. I think it wants the photo opportunity of the two leaders there. And I think we're seeing from President Trump an acceptance that it will be a longer process before any actual agreement is accomplished. So I think there is some realistic expectation there, but definitely they still want the symbolic victory of the meeting.
Now, I've got to say, I've never heard anybody talk about the summit as the hokey pokey, so that may be a first. But so we were talking about South Korea, their involvement in all of this. The South Korean defense minister said that the international community should not question Kim Jong Un's motives at this point. Yet American lawmakers like House Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, they've done exactly that. Why have they been so skeptical of this summit and almost don't share the same sort of optimism that the White House does?
Basically, I think because their thinking is more aligned with the foreign policy establishment in both parties here. That establishment is very distrustful of North Korea. It has seen a history of North Korea failing to follow through on things that it had appeared to promise during past administrations, both Republican and Democratic. President Trump, I think, clearly sees the idea of change coming by virtue of his very unconventional approach. I think he would see any movement as something that not only is a good thing for the United States and the world, but would also be, in his mind, a vindication of his approach over the more cautious approach favoured by other people, including some in his own party.
So in addition to North Korea, we've also got talks on tariffs this week. We got key Republicans criticizing the president's decision to impose these new tariffs on allies of ours, Canada, Mexico, European allies. Here's what the president said defending the fallout on Friday.
They're our allies, but they take advantage of us. We're going to straighten out trade. The trade is going to be easy. And other countries understand. When I talk to them, they look at me, and this is in closed doors, not for you people. And they essentially say, we can't believe we've gotten away with this for so long.
Any way of gauging how this trade dispute could help or hurt Republicans in midterms as they're trying to sort of campaign on a really strong economy?
It is a danger for them, I think. There's something of a danger of sort of standing on your own shovel here, because, as you say, the economy is going well. If this tariff battle were to develop into a full-blown trade war, then many people, including Republicans, think that that could be very damaging for the American economy. It is, though, a complicated issue, Rena, because in some of the states in the Midwest, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, there are, I think, people on both parties who favour the tariffs on steel and aluminium because they see that as a way to resuscitate the manufacturing base in those kind of states. So it's a complicated political calculus, but certainly not without risk for the president and his party.
And we know in the coming weeks the DOJ Inspector General is expected to release findings on how the FBI handled the Clinton email investigation. He's also reviewing the Russia investigation. Do you get a sense of what kind of impact these reports will have?
They will have an impact, but I'm not sure how much it will be unpredictable. I suspect it will go along fairly predictable battle lines. The Inspector General is very highly thought of by many people. He seems to be fairly good at resisting political pressure. The problem is that everything regarding the DOJ at the moment is so politicised. He might produce a nuanced report, but there's not much nuance in war, and we're in the middle of a war of words about the DOJ and its integrity and how that impacts the Trump administration. So that's the danger.
Niall Stanage in Washington, who knows a hokey pokey very well, along with foreign affairs and Washington politics. Niall, thank you for joining us.
Everything, Rena. Thank you.
It's all in one, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.